Hi everyone. So in this video, we're going to discuss about proforma of a cataract case, which is usually a long case for third year ophthalmology practicals. So let's get started. So any case sheet starts with the preliminarily the personal details of the patient. So they are the name, age, sex, occupation, and address. So name is important to address the patient by name, and age is important here because cataract can be congenital or developmental, right? So based on age we can classify it as congenital or developmental, and then the sex of patient. So it said that males have more preponderance of having cataract than when compared to females because of their occupation on staying outdoors and getting exposed to sun. And again, occupation is same like sun exposure. It said that cataract is higher in hot and dry areas, and address because cataract is seen higher in rural areas. So based on address we can actually see if the person is belonging to urban or rural areas. And then moving on to the presenting complaints, that is the chief complaints. So the patient presents with chief complaints of diminution of vision. So diminution of vision is the most important complaint the patient presents to in the case of a cataract. So when we present it as a chief complaint, we say that diminution of vision since how many years. So let's say 1 year, for example. So that's the chief complaint. And then moving on to the history of presenting illness. So this is how we present that he or she was apparently normal since we are telling 1 year here. So 1 year ago, 1 year back, and he or she noticed diminution of vision that is insidious in onset and gradual and progressive in nature. So this point is very important because that is the characteristic of cataract. How the diminution of vision presents is it's gradual and progressive in nature. So other conditions where there is gradual progressive loss of vision is in refractive errors, in optic atrophy, and in ARMD. All those are differential diagnosis of gradual progressive loss of vision. And then we say that initially she was able to see things at dash meters. Suppose say she's able to see approximately, suppose say 6 meters, something like that, and now she's seeing things at, so this determines the visual acuity, like how much it is reduced. It gives us a vague idea of the diminution of vision. So and then we find out if the diminution of vision is same for near vision and distant vision, or it is more in near vision or distant vision. So we also see if diminution of vision is same in dim light or bright light, because in history taking itself we can actually determine the type of cataract. So if it is a central cataract or a peripheral cataract. So in acquired cataract you have two different types, that is the cuneiform cataract and the cupuliform cataract. A cuneiform cataract is a peripheral cataract, so it gets noticed late, and in dim light when the pupil dilates, that's when there's more diminution of vision. Whereas in cupuliform cataract it's a central cataract and it gets noticed a bit early, and when pupil constricts in bright light, that's when the diminution of vision is more and the patient cannot tolerate bright light, right? So along with presenting complaints, the diminution of vision, we have other presenting complaints in cataract. So negative history is very important along with the positive history. So we should see if diminution of vision is associated with any glare, because glare is the earliest symptom to be noticed in a cataract case. Why is glare present? It's because of the diffraction of light by the lenticular opacities. So there are opacities in the lens, right? So that's why the glare is present. And some of the early symptoms are colored halos, double vision, and uniocular polyopia. So polyopia is seen in the early stages of like incipient cataract, right? And then there are other presenting symptoms also, like pain, redness, watering. So all of this is associated in complications like with phacoanalytic uveitis. Suppose the lens breaks down and the particles gets distributed in the anterior chamber, causing uveitis or phacomorphic or phacolytic glaucoma. So all pain, redness, watering is all associated with such complications. And then we also even the discharge is associated with this complications. And then we have broache and headache. That's because of the vision, asthenopic symptoms, and stuff. And then moving on to ocular history, we need to know if the patient was previously using any spectacles for near vision or distant vision or both, or if there's any history of surgery to left eye, right eye, or both eyes. And it's important, all this, like finding out the history if it's for one eye or both the eyes, because it can be unilateral or bilateral. And then now we have, moving on to ocular history, if there's any history of trauma to right eye, left eye, and both eyes, because even in trauma, you have a type of cataract, you have serosity cataract, where it's also associated with this Vossius ring and subluxation or dislocation of lens. So it's important to know if there's any history of trauma. And then if there's any history of using eye drops in the past for any ocular condition, because it's noticed that due to some drugs also cataract can be caused. Suppose, for example, for steroids, like topical steroids, there's posterior subcapsular cataract, and on usage of myotics for a long term, there can be anterior subcapsular cataract. And the other drugs which can lead to cataract are amiodarone and chlorpromazine. And then moving on to past history, so we should know if the patient is a diabetic or hypertensive. Why is this important? Because before the cataract surgery, it's important that these are under control. The levels are under control, because in hypertensive patients, there is prone of expulsive hemorrhage, and in diabetic patients, we know that they're very prone to infections. And in diabetic patients, there's early onset of senile cataract, right? So in diabetic patients, a characteristic feature of cataract is a snowflake cataract, and in these patients, we can notice transient variations in refractive index along with the glycemic index. Like with varied glucose levels, there's variation of refractive index too. And in diabetic patients, it's important because they're more prone to infections, as I said. There's increased incidence of STI, infective keratitis, and delayed healing if there's any injury. And then we should also know that if the patient has COPD or asthma, ischemic heart disease, asthma, and if they're on regular treatment, and we should also know about history of TB in the patient. And then moving on to the next history, that's the family history. Why does family history play a role? Because the genes really affect the age of onset and maturation of cataract. So if suppose anyone in the family had cataract in the past, so it's more prone that their next generation would get an early, like cataract at an early age, and it matures kind of fast than compared to others. And then the personal history. So personal history is, we need to know about diet, because deficiency of proteins and zinc is associated with cataract development, because vitamin E and C and other trace elements take part in lens metabolism. So other personal history characteristics like appetite, sleep, and habits also need to be noted. So moving on to socioeconomic history, we need to know if the patient is upper, middle, or lower class. And why is this so important? Because in poor people, like when we give us the treatment management, it's important that they can afford the treatment and it's reachable to them. So that's why socioeconomic history is important. This is all about the history and the explanations. We'll deal about examination, ocular examination, and general examination in the next video. See you there.